7 months ago, my life flipped completely upside down when I got a wild hair to check my husband's Apple Watch. And in 2 seconds, I found some of the most disgusting text messages that I have ever read from a married man.
That's really brutal. I can't even imagine. Yeah, it's really interesting because cheating is not as uncommon as growing up. I had just rose-colored glasses that everybody was on the up and up, and it was like very rare for divorce, and very rare people cheat. People cheat all the time. Men cheat, women cheat. It's just like my heart goes out to this woman because it's just finding all of these explicit messages or images. I just can't even imagine the shock and the disgust and the betrayal that somebody would feel uncovering that.
And I discovered his infidelity. And 24 hours later, he and his parents walked out of my house. I lost, at the time, what I felt like was my whole life. And for anybody saying, it's been 7 months, get over it.
No, it takes years to get over divorce. Anybody that's talking about 7 months, they've never been through and this is a massive betrayal as well. Like this woman's, it takes it could take a couple years to kind of get over and process this, particularly if there's kids involved and you have to see this person. It's way different. If you're married to somebody, they cheat on you, it's horrific, and then you just never have to talk to them again. You split up the assets and you go your separate ways. You never see them again. It's a big difference than having to see this person on a weekly, multiple times per week when you're exchanging kids with them. And particularly if there's narcissism, there's abuse, this infidelity. It's very difficult to recover from. So if anybody told this woman, hey, it's been 7 months, get over it, I think that maybe they're just sick of hearing about it, but I think they should have more compassion and realize just when somebody goes through substantial trauma in your life, it's not easy to just move on. I think ultimately the person does have to pick up the pieces and reinvent themselves and build themselves back. But yeah, 7 months is like a blink of an eye. It's nothing.
It's very apparent you've never experienced anything like this before, as this is the most traumatic thing I have ever been through in my entire life. I lost my best friend. I lost an entire marriage. I lost essentially the father of my kids, my life partner, in a split second. And I wasn't expecting it. I've spent the last 7 months trying to figure out what life is going to look like for me and my girls, as we are in the middle of a divorce that I had no control over. And life is going to look a whole lot different. I am now going to be the provider for the three of us, and I've spent a lot of time figuring out what I wanted that to look like and how I wanted that to be. And
that's really hard. I made a video on that I married a single mother, and I was kind of talking about the benefits of being able to be a stepdad. Man, I got a lot of blowback on that, and so it's difficult. My heart goes out to this woman because she's a single mother and not by choice, and a lot of people look down on single mothers in this day and age. And it's just like this woman was cheated on by this husband, and yeah, we don't know the whole story, but yeah, he decided to break his vows and infidelity. So here we are. But this woman is just like, life is completely destroyed. Now she's thrust into the situation where she has to go out and I'm not sure what her economic situation is, but now she's got to be a provider where she never anticipated that. So that's a huge shocker, in addition to losing the marriage. And yeah, her life was completely upended. And divorce is hard on anybody, man. People will point to women and say, "Oh, women come out ahead in the divorce," and I think the courts are biased against men 100%. But I also think nobody comes out thinking, "Oh, I won that, and now I'm happy that I won that." I was talking to a lawyer, and they basically, divorce is so rough because no matter what, everybody feels like they lost.
How much I didn't want the girls' lives to shift and change for the choices that someone else made. And for the first time in 7 months, I'm excited about the future. And what this is going to do for me and my kids. And I'm
Good
proud
for
of
her.
me for doing way more than I ever imagined that I could. And
Good for her.
I think that life is about to get a whole lot better for us. And I think we're going to have a life that we never ever could have had before. And I'm grateful and I'm excited. And for the first time in a really long time, I'm hopeful because things are looking up.
There's one thing I want to just point out in what she said was I wanted basically no interruption in the vision that I had for the daughter's lives. And that's really difficult with a divorce because inherently with a divorce, you're going to have a lot. It's like throwing it's like a hurricane coming in and devastating your whole house, and everything gets upended. So I do think it's very difficult if people hang on to a preconceived notion of, well, this is what the kids' lives were going to look like, and now this person cheated on me, and I will not have that interrupt what this vision. It's like, well, okay, like your life is completely different. So, like, you know, and divorce is extremely difficult on children to get thrust into this bizarre situation between two parents that hate each other. I don't know what the custody situation is, but they, you know, and oftentimes they have to go between houses, which is very much less than ideal. So I do think it is hard to let go of things, but I think a divorce is very humbling in that respect because you had a vision, you know, of how things were going to go, and then it just didn't work out. And so coming to terms with the fact that, you know, you were seeking this one thing and then it ended up, you know, going sideways on you, and now it looks completely different, and you have to it's humbling in the sense of you have to now find be able to make peace and find happiness in a very suboptimal situation, and actually in being pushed and held down into a suboptimal situation can actually be a time where you feel invigorated because you have to kind of find happiness in against all odds. And so it's actually quite interesting to hear her talk about this as well, in the sense that she's feeling this enthusiasm. Look, with a divorce, your emotions go sky high and then the rock bottom, and you go through a lot of fluctuations over the time. And it's very, very difficult to be a single parent, where you have to be working, you have to be taking care of your kids, you have to be paying attention to their schedules, you have to you know, cook, clean, laundry, all of the stuff. You have to take care of your own house with no help. You know, of course, you could say you get child support, monetary help, but it's a lot. And so, no matter what the situation is, you know, being a single parent it's a lot. So hearing her talk about having this positivity and this optimism about it, it's great. And I experienced that as well. You know, when you kind of have this a difficult marriage and you have difficult you know, friction on parenting with this person, and now all of a sudden that person's out of the way and you're running your own house, and you can set your own rules and your own vision for what are we doing with this family, what are we doing, you know, at mom's house, or what are we doing at dad's house, and you can kind of make that vision and have it be about a spirit and an enthusiasm. I think it can be very empowering despite the fact that you've gone through this horrific event.
I started sharing my journey here in March, and this all started in January. And I never dreamed that this is what that was going to look like, that 230,000 people were going to start following me and
That's a lot of people.
my redemption story. But I'm excited, and I'm here to tell you that story starts now. So, thank you for being here. And I hope you'll stick around to see where life takes us.
I wonder how long she combed her hair, brushed her hair before she hit record. Her hair looks perfect. Because one thing I'll say on the ex-husband is, like, she paints a clear picture of this guy being an asshole that cheated on her. But one thing is, my wife told me this kind of old adage, which is, hatred is like drinking poison and wanting the other person to die or have harm befall them. And it's very it's very difficult to talk about, but you know, divorces are not normally cut and dry. It's not normally, hey, we had this awesome marriage and then this person strayed. And that's a very uncomfortable thing to talk about. It's very triggering because if you've been hurt in a divorce, people really do want to point the finger at the other person. I'll just say, I don't want to put anything on her. I don't know anything about the situation. For me and my personal situation, I've made videos about it takes two to tango, and it's important to take accountability for why the marriage didn't work out on your part, and that's a hard thing and a personal journey to go through. But on the topic of, hey, this man hurt me, and the infidelity, how could he? He ruined our family. Holding on to that hate ultimately can be extremely destructive, and it can be destructive to you personally, because you want to see something bad happen to the person. You want them to get their comeuppance, or you want to, it's in every communication that you have. Well, I have the kids, and I'm trying to give them the life that we were making for them before you ruined it. And I understand that. I've had that pain. Everybody that's divorced struggles with that pain and that frustration, that resentment. But ultimately, my dad gave me some good advice. He actually said, look, if you allow the resentment, just watch out with the resentment, because you don't want it to consume you. And it does. Hatred and resentment is a consuming force. So I just want to throw that out there to anybody that's listening. If we feel like we want to hold on to the resentment and the hatred so that we don't allow ourselves to be abused again, and we kind of want to hold on to the fact that this person's not a great person. But after a couple of years, you realize, why I'm holding on to this. It's only making me more upset, and it's having no effect on this person. So I'll end with that one. I wish this woman well, and yeah, sounds like she's very successful with the channel.